Hello everyone and welcome back to Chips Weekly by Diana. I am Diana and this week brought another surge of critical semiconductor headlines. We are seeing trade rules tighten, alliances deepen, and a new round of countermeasures from China. Here's what's on the docket today. First, the US just widened its export control with a sweeping new 50% rule, instantly extending restrictions to hundreds of subsidiaries of already blacklisted companies. Second, Siemens and TSMC announced a strategic collaboration on advanced 3D IC and AI design flows, a major sign of how the EDA and foundry ecosystems are knitting together to push chiplets and multi-die packaging. And third, China is hitting back, launching anti-dumping probes and fresh import controls on US chips, escalating its counter-strategy ahead of trade talks. In our industry spotlight, we'll look at the silent race to set the rules for the chiplet integration, why standards are the next frontier of the power. And we will close, as usual, with our chip of the week. Let's deep dive. Story number 1, US tightens the export net. The US Commerce Department made high headlines on September 29 with a major change, the new 50% rule. Until now, export restrictions applied directly to companies on the entity list, think Huawei or certain Chinese AI startups. But with this update, any subsidiary that's 50% or more owned by a listed company automatically inherits the same restrictions. This closes this loophole multinationals have used for years, setting up affiliates to keep access to restricted US tech. Now, hundreds of Chinese subsidiaries, particularly in AI chips, data center equipment, and semiconductor toolmaking, suddenly find themselves cut off from critical components and software. For US firms like NVIDIA, AMD, and EDA players such as Synopsys or Cadence, compliance just got harder. Every new China design win now needs a deeper ownership, tracing, and licensing. It's also a clear signal Washington is shifting from product-specific bans to systematic, structure-oriented controls. It's no longer about one chip model, it's about entire corporate families. Story number 2, Siemens and TSMC push 3D IC design for AI. While policy tightens, technology keeps advancing. On September 24, Siemens and TSMC announced a deeper partnership focused on 3D IC design and AI-driven workflows for multi-die systems. This means EDA tools from Siemens will align directly with TSMC's advanced packaging. The aim is to let designers create massive AI-centric systems across multiple dies without losing yield or blowing up costs. Why it matters? Multi-die and chiplet designs are now mainstream, but tooling and verification are a bottleneck. AI accelerators need a huge bandwidth and tight integration across logic, memory, and input-output. And getting software and manufacturing rules aligned can speed time to market and cut the risk. It's also geopolitical. By tying EDA and foundry ecosystems more tightly together, it keeps Western design houses competitive against China's fast-rising local EDA alternatives. Story number 3, China strikes back with trade probes and import controls. China isn't sitting still. As Washington's tightened controls, Beijing responded this week with anti-dumping probes targeting US semiconductor imports, especially analog and power management ICs, widely used in EVs and consumer electronics. The Ministry of Commerce also hinted at expanded import restrictions and national security reviews for foreign chip makers selling into China. A clear shot back at US export rules. for companies like Texas Instruments, Analog Devices, and even the power management players, some European companies. This adds a new layer of risks. It's a reminder that trade war isn't one-sided. As the US cuts access to bleeding-edge AI and packaging tech, China can squeeze another part of the stack, from auto electronics to industrial semiconductors. Enters the spotlight. Who will own the chiplet standards? All three stories tie to one deeper theme. Modularity is coming, but control isn't settled. Chiplets, tiny specialized dies, snap together like Lego, are the future. But the so-called universal chiplet interconnect express is still young and fragmented. Intel drives it hard. TSMC adopts it, and other players are experimenting. If chiplets come from different companies, can work together easily, chips could be designed faster and built more cheaply. But that would also change who has the power in the industry. The groups that set the standards would shape the future of the semiconductors. The US wants to keep leadership through the alliances like Siemens TSMC. China wants to create local standards, and startups like Transtorrent and risk-free players are betting on openness. Finally, the chip of the week. Our chip of the week is TSMC's SoIC-X platform, the same technology Siemens is aligning with. SoIC-X lets multiple logic dies bond directly with ultra-fine pitches below 2 microns, far tighter than traditional 2.5D or chip-on-wafer approaches. That means lower latency, better power efficiency, and easier mixing of process nodes. Why it's huge? AI and HPC customers like AMD, NVIDIA, and Apple can keep pushing performance without relying on ever bigger monolithic dies. It's also a hedge if Moore's law slows, 3D packaging can keep scaling alive. That's it for episode 21 of Chips Weekly by Diana. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, share it with your colleague, and connect with me on LinkedIn and X, Diana on Chips. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strategic, and as always, stay chip aware.